everybody. It's SportCulation. We're back for another episode, but not about sports this time. No. It's this is more of a getting to know us kind of thing. You know, we've been at this now on and off for just under a year. We started in I think late November or December of last year.
Yep.
And have been in 2019
when Dom was getting fired.
when things were simpler and there wasn't a massive pandemic going around. But I thought we'd take this time now, since we're no longer the play-by-play podcast. We're now SportCulation, of course. Just get to know us a little bit and how we all met. And we've mentioned before that we've all been friends for a very long time. But I think now would be a good time to sort of explain all that. And yeah, so long story short, this is the shortest episode we've ever done.
Yeah. End
Bam!
of podcast.
Done. End of No. Long story short, the three of us met in high school. In the very beginning of high school, in grade 9. And now, granted, we were all part of different friend groups in high school.
Yeah.
You know, I was, at least for me, I was like switching between friend groups from the band kids in the music program to just people outside of the program. And people outside of the program is how I met Parse. And people in the program was how I met Anton.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, yeah, somehow over all these years, it's been 10 years since we started high school.
Yes.
It's been 10 long years since we started high school.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Kids are starting school now, and it's kind of weird because, like, they're doing, like, a hybrid school, like, 2 days on, 2 days off or something like that.
I could never
Or like
do that.
every other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd go
imagine if we
crazy.
had to do that.
I go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even do work.
No. But
Good on them.
good on them. But,
They're different.
yeah, so it's been 10 years since we all started high school, and we've been, oh, man, that smells really good. Sorry.
I know, man. I'm actually trying to eat.
We're getting
I'm so
distracted
hungry.
here. We've been friends ever since, and yeah, we got stories to tell just about the last 10 years of being friends and all the dumb things we've done.
Like the time that we went to your house and I like slipped and fell like on your stairs.
You've done that multiple times. Which one
Yeah,
are you
which-
talking about?
which one
The
are you-
very first one, like the first time.
Was
you
that
ever
the
brought
one
me
where
to
you
your
cut
house.
your knee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
remember
was
that.
funny.
That was
Some fun times.
that was Canada Day 2011.
no.
Was it?
No. Well, we
No,
start-
you
we
slipped.
started
It
in
was like
14.
winter time,
On
right?
stairs?
No,
Oh!
that was outside. It was on Canada Day. Canada Day, I sliced my knee. It was like when we went to the cottage.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
were up there in Aurora, and
Like,
you
that was
and
like
you
14,
slipped-
15.
I remember that. Yeah, man, that was rough. I thought you wouldn't be my friend
2011.
after that.
Oh yeah, it would have been 2011. 'cause
It
we
would have been
started in
2011.
2010. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it would have been 2011. I thought you weren't gonna be my friend after that. Because
Your
I was
mom
like,
took care of me.
I'm like, oh my god, I hurt this man.
And all I could think of was how dumb I was for actually slicing my knee off.
Yeah, there's so we got a lot of like other.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not even sure if we introduced our names.
No,
at
we
this point.
didn't.
That was definitely
Hi, by the way.
David who did that.
Hi,
not
my
Parse.
name is Parse Cottrell.
No, stop confusing people. Stop confusing people. Stop it.
I'm Yusuf Rashid. That's Parse.
Yo,
There's Parse. There's
Yep.
Anton.
Hey,
Trying to
the
get
one with like the higher pitched voice ish.
Yeah.
Of the group. So that's how you can tell us apart.
this is probably how
if
we're
you're
gonna be
just
sitting
listening to
forever.
us.
Here's a story for you. One of the first few times Anton and I not hung out, but like we were doing something as part of our band program. So Anton called me and I picked up, and I have a very deep voice, like just very deep, right? So Anton thought it was either my uncle or my brother that picked up,
yes.
and he immediately hung up. And I'm like, "Did you mean to hang up on me? Like what?" So I saw him the next day at school, and was like, "Did you try calling me yesterday?" And he was like, "That was you?"
Yeah, now I kind of remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a really deep voice. And you're like,
Hello. Hello.
like it
Hi.
shook my phone.
Yeah.
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 But you know what? Let's just start off by how each of us met each other.
okay.
Okay.
All right. So, okay. I'm
Man.
gonna talk about how I met. Well, who met who first?
I don't know
the
who met
most?
who first.
I
remember there
think
was
I
this
met.
big assembly.
I think I met Yusuf. The first because
Because you guys were in
Because of-
music class together, yeah?
So
Did you meet Parse?
I met him
at one of those
after.
like introduction.
Parse
days,
and I were
orientation days?
in the same English class in grade 9
Oh,
for a hot minute
yeah. With Miss
with Miss Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I met Parse. So I
Okay.
would have met him the first day of school. whatever day was that first band meeting,
Yeah.
that's when we met.
Okay, so you guys talk about your story first. Like, what was your first impressions of each other?
Who is this guy?
I came in. I don't know why I was like so into like the classroom setting. I was trying to like raise my hand and all that stuff. I don't know
Ours
why I was
tried
doing that.
being a
I was
good kid
so
in high school.
uncool. And then I met him. I didn't know who he was like before everything else. Like I just kind of met him and said, "Hey, like what's up?" Like we had that whole chair.
Yeah, there was like
Desk
the whole
exchange.
grade 9 getting to know you.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
hey, here's your new buddy for the rest of your life.
And you were talking to Salman because remember Salman was in the same class. You were talking to him a
Yeah.
lot. So that's how we kind of connected as well.
Brown people connection, man.
Yeah, so
What
like
can I say? It's
I
got that
kind of
brown
like
people connection.
got in at the back because
Yeah.
yeah, but that was
but
first
I-
impressions.
but
I
I-
mean, he had a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yusuf,
yeah.
oh man, Yusuf had a lot of hair.
So,
oh boy.
For anyone listening, this is so funny to talk about because I feel like there's two sides of me that like people know, but not everyone knows both sides. So you've got the side of me from here that everyone knows. So like long hair, just full of energy and like somewhat chaotic. And then when I was in Boston, it was shorter hair, not as much chaos, but just equal ridiculousness. So anytime I get a haircut, people here will be like, isn't your hair normally longer? And then people in Boston will be like, oh, good, you're back to normal. But if I let my hair grow out like I did for the last 6 months, until I finally got a haircut, for people here, you know, they'll see me and they'll be like, Yusuf, it's you. I recognize you from the ridiculously long, messy, uncontrollable hair.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
thought.
and the beard.
That's what I
Oh,
thought.
yeah.
Oh, God.
He had a beard early.
Yeah. You had a beard at like 10, didn't
Yeah,
you?
man.
Like 12.
12?
Yeah.
12.
We'll tell more stories later on.
Yeah, we'll carry on. But I remember meeting parts from English class, and then he, I think, like transferred out of that class and went to another one. But we were Were you?
I finished it.
Were you okay? I can't. Like for some reason I couldn't remember that, but we stayed friends there. He then I remember this. Fun.
We had gym next semester.
We did. Yes. He walks in wearing a fucking Chicago Blackhawks hat. And that's how I knew from that moment. I'm
That
like,
he was your sword
I was like,
enemy.
I hate. There's a story about this too that took place like what 2 years later.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, that's how Parson I met long ago. Anton and I met through the music program at our high school.
Yeah, we were both percussionists.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, we both like to hit things.
Yes, we do.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, things
Oh,
that go
yeah.
boom, boom.
Yep.
And yeah, at that time I was like super like nerdy band geek. I was like, yeah, I'm really into band. And then Yusuf was just like, yeah, I just like playing music and stuff like that.
And then I became.
And then he wasn't. At the time I
Yeah.
met you, you weren't like
I wasn't
too
like
nerdy
super,
about it.
Yeah, I wasn't super nerdy about it. And then like within that year.
Yeah, like at the end of grade 10, or like at the beginning of grade 10, at the end of grade 9,
Yeah.
you became like super into music.
Yeah. And all that.
Yeah, like
the whole like wind band.
Yeah, the
world,
whole wind
like,
band
Super
thing.
into that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and like there were these things called section leaders where it's like, you know, all of the flutes have one section leader and like all of the trumpets have one section leader, and then because we had two bands in grade 9, Yusuf was the section leader of one, and then I was the section leader of the other one, and like that's kind of how we got along at first.
Yeah, because we just have to constantly report to each other on certain little things here and there.
Yeah, and yeah.
Plus, we were in both bands.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were both in both bands, and like music was kind of how we got along at first.
Yeah.
I don't remember if, apart from music class, I've never had another class with you.
That's the only class we've ever had
That's
together.
the only class we've ever had together.
In 4 years of high school, yeah. That was the only class we
It
ever
was
had
grade
together.
11 and grade 12 music, because there was only one music class in
In grade 11 and
grade
12.
11, grade 12.
Yeah, because we didn't have grade 9 together. We didn't have grade 10 together. We only had 11 and 12 together.
Yeah, those are the only classes that we had together.
And band, if you count that.
yeah, and band.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, at first I just saw him as this like, this guy who's like, kind of pretty like outgoing and talkative, kind of annoying sometimes. But and you know, like who wasn't at
Yeah,
14?
at 14.
I definitely
So
was.
like, yeah, I was probably just projecting my insecurities on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we grew to become like really fast friends, especially in grade 10
Yep.
when we shared a lunch together and we would like hang out
Yeah.
during lunch.
And I think grade 10 is when, because there was only one grade 10 band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And there was like a massive. We had like
130 something people.
Eight percussionists or something like that.
8 percussionists. I think
Or
there was
9.
like 30 flutes.
Yeah. It was like a huge band.
Pretty big.
And then that's when we became really close.
Yeah, 'cause I remember they were like, oh, only one of you can be section leader, and so they decided me, but I said, screw it, I'm gonna split it with him.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
just took like an unofficial role.
Yeah.
But I just started hanging out with him like aside from music. We just started talking about other stuff like video games or movies or sports
or whatnot.
Yeah, and life.
Yeah, life.
Yeah.
How it finds a way.
Yeah, like oh man, we love Jurassic Park.
He loves
Our
Joe
whole
Goldblum.
friend group. Yeah.
And then grade 11 and grade 12, I think, is where we started to be more like brotherly with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, all of us,
Yeah.
all three of us, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
different aspects, right? Because, like, outside of music.
Well, I'll
It
get
was, like,
into
guys
like
like Parson
my
and
how I
everything,
met Parse.
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of music, for me, it was like the
great-
guys I can hang out with were like Parson and a few other people, but like within music, there's only like, a certain
grade
amount of
11,
people.
grade 12.
Yeah.
Especially grade 12 because you your lunch period was last period.
Yes.
And so sometimes I would just, because I had lunch during like a third period, like middle period, I would come and just bring you lunch.
Yep.
So I was
Nice.
like, we are
we
brothers
helped each
at
other
this
a lot.
point.
We really helped each other out a
Yeah.
lot. There's one of my favorite memories of us was oh my god, I think it was grade 11, but we were working with the grade 10 band that year. I want to say grade 10 or grade 9 for OBA, and we were getting ready to
The Ontario Band Association,
Yes, they have a provincial festival that goes on every year that Bayview used to compete at.
the school we went to.
Yes, Bayview Secondary. Fun times. And I remember we packed everything up, and I said, I'm going to go run and get a sandwich from Tim's. Do you want anything? He's like, yeah, can you get me this? I said, yeah, sure. And we used to do this, like, we did this more in grade 12, where we would just go to what is now Food Basics, nearby our school, and just hang around there. Or when there was a Tim Hortons there, we'd get just coffee or something there. But
that chicken
so,
sandwich.
oh
Yeah.
man,
So I asked Yusuf for a chicken sandwich while I was
Chicken
like
sandwich
packing up
Yeah, so
for
Anton's
the
packing.
field trip.
So I'm
And
like,
that
okay,
Metro
cool.
fries?
Oh god,
Hot,
the Metro
bro.
fries, good. Yeah, it used to be a Metro.
Yo,
Yes.
Metro Pizza, hot, bro.
We're getting too off track, Bars.
Bars, calm down.
Come on.
I know you
I'm
smell.
hungry.
I know you smell food, but stop talking about food. So I get the sandwiches, and I run back, and we're like just about to leave, and I run in and just go, Anton. He's like, what? I'm like, I forgot your sandwich, and Anton looks at me concerned. Like, what do you mean? Like, you forgot my sandwich? I'm like, yeah. And I just pull his sandwich out, and I
you
go,
when you're
so I
hungry.
got you a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was not much of a story, but like if you were there, it was really funny.
It was
By the
funny
way,
in the moment.
Parse was complaining about being hungry, so I just gave him like a granola bar just to calm
if you
his
hear-
nerves a little
If you
bit.
can hear
I'm
the
not me when I'm
crinkling-
hungry.
Yeah, like have a Snickers, Parse.
We're not sponsored by Snickers. But if you want to sponsor us, Snickers,
Yes, yeah, anyone really.
please.
Let us know.
Wendy's,
Yeah, especially if you want to sponsor us by giving us Leafs tickets, that would be nice too.
that'd be great.
Definitely leaves.
But yeah, how I met Parse was
Yeah,
boy.
this is good. This is in the same semester that I met Yusuf, I believe.
no. Well,
It wasn't drama grade 9?
it was drama grade 10.
Okay.
But I knew of you in grade 9.
Because of the callback.
No, it was because of. Well, it's because you were like the only black guy in our school.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah, there were
we
like
gotta-
5.
There we go.
There were
there
like
were, like,
maybe
5
5 black people
black people
in our school, and like
or in our grade. I mean,
yeah, in our grade,
in our
and then
grade.
maybe like 10
I just,
white
like,
people.
I
Maybe.
hear this guy Parse, and then someone said like, "Oh, you don't know Parse?" I'm like, "No, who is he?" He's like, "You know the black guy?" Like, there's a black guy in our grade because like we had it was a very heavily Asian populated. So East Asian, heavily East Asian, but like
Yeah.
South Asian there as well, and like Afghan and Persians as
Yeah.
well, and
3 white people.
yeah, a couple of white people in there. And so it's just like that's how I knew who you were, and I think like I joined in on a conversation through like a mutual friend, and you were talking about Call of Duty or something. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy seems kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then grade 10 drama is where I met him, like
That was
properly.
That was a year.
Yeah, and I got to know Parse a little more as like this fun guy, just Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard,
but he's actually a fun guy.
Yeah.
Like it's just more well-rounded guy. He's like, and we did some skits together, or like.
See, that's the thing. Like my favorite memory of Anton wasn't the fact that we did like this big play. We did a random. So one of our teachers, Mr. Tyrone, I think at the time it was grade 10.
Grade. It was
10.
grade 10 was Mr. Rose.
Mr. Rose. Okay, I remember we did this improv section.
Oh, that was with Mr. Tyrone. Yeah.
Oh, that was okay. So that's a big memory I have of us because we were doing it, but we didn't really know how to do it correctly. But like Anton took the lead, and it was like one of the most funniest things because we were complaining about like why we're not doing chores in the house.
Oh, I really don't remember the scene.
It was so funny. I don't remember the right words to be called, but then all of a sudden, Mr. Tyrone was like spiced it a bit, and so I said, okay. So I pointed at Anton. He's like, whoa, you don't have to be that black.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Was I? Did I go there? Oh man, I was really like edgelord as a teen.
We all were. High school.
Rough memory ever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that was. I think in grade 11 was when because our grade 11 drama class was like 15 people, and so like I remember taking those like field trips downtown to watch plays, and like I like got to properly know you more.
Yeah.
Like you were this guy who was kind of fun, but then also kind of fun to poke fun at.
I mean,
my
impression,
like the guy to just poke fun at for like everybody in high school. I don't know what it was. Well,
no, I still don't know. Even now, up to this very moment.
Well, I mean, you do some like within our group, you do some
questionable things,
parse things where it's just like, yo, I'll be there soon. Doesn't show up until like 11 o'clock at night.
Parse. I'm gonna quickly tell this story.
So yeah,
this
there's some reasonable things
within
there's
our
some
group things you at least with us.
But I mean, we roast other people too. We roast Joseph.
We roast each other.
We roast Rosh sometimes.
Yeah, we roast Rosh.
Yeah, like that's my impression of Anton when I first met him was like, just cool. I mean, he did look like the rest of the school, but
yes, I definitely did.
Yeah,
it was
like
he
all
was
the
a
other
pretty
Chinese
cool person,
guys.
pretty good to talk to. He was actually very knowledgeable, so that's what I always remembered. And then
he is, and that's that's one thing I gotta give.
memory.
Like, I don't know if I've ever told him this. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. Anton, I'm blessed that I've had him as a friend for this long. Genuinely, mainly because he was the calm to my extremely chaotic. In high school.
That's true. We were very like yin yang.
We were extremely yin yang, and I felt like that combination was perfect for the kind of things we were doing, being in the music department. So for every ridiculous and crazy either idea or thing I did or said, Anton would be there to either just keep me at bay or just be like, don't.
Yeah.
And I just don't. Like, okay.
But
fine.
yeah, like grade 11, grade 12, and then like prom. I remember the three of us met up at prom. Like it was just like so me, so like Anton is speaking.
Yes,
me,
there's Anton.
Yusuf,
Hi.
and our other friend Joseph, who went to prom together.
Yeah.
Because none of us had dates.
Nope.
We were all our own dates.
Yep.
Well, sorry.
Joseph
brought a card of Dark Magician Girl from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep.
As his date.
So there was that.
So I guess he did bring a date.
Technically.
But yeah, and then we saw so many of our other friends there. One being Parse.
You're forgetting the fact that we accidentally all wore gray.
Yes, we all wore gray.
Even
we were
me?
talking about.
No, I think you wore a black suit, but so my dad was driving the three of us to prom, and so obviously I get in his car, I'm wearing a gray suit. We pick up Anton's wearing a gray suit, and we look at each other like, oh, this is funny. So like, hope Joseph's not wearing one. Joseph comes out wearing gray.
Right. Yeah, and we're just like, yo, we just gotta find 47 more guys wearing gray, and then we can be 50 Shades of Gray.
Yep. And then Parse was also with us, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that was super fun. We I still have
The photos.
photos
the
of
photos
us
that we took.
in the photo booth,
Yeah.
just like having a great time.
Yep.
And we stayed friends after that because like
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm gonna get to that in a second. There's two things I want to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Number one, about prom. One thing some people do forget is that while people were like dancing and whatever, there was at least 20 people crowded up in the foyer of that banquet hall surrounding a phone because it was Game 7 of the Eastern Conference
Oh, yeah.
Finals between New York and Montreal, and winner went to go play LA in the finals that year. It was 2014.
Yeah, that was the time the Kings won, right?
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was when the Kings
priorities,
won.
guys, priorities.
Priorities, yeah.
Priorities.
So there was a bunch of people just crowded around there, like freaking out whether or not the Rangers were going to win or not, because no one wanted to see Montreal go. So there was that. Except Sema. Yeah, there's like 2 other really good hockey stories I have about this, and this is where I really gained a different kind of friendship with these guys, because we talk about things other than like what we're doing or like life.
School
School-related things.
subjects.
Grade 11.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh God.
Oh,
Grade 11.
you have to talk about this.
Grade 11. It was the last year the Red Wings were in the Western Conference. This is before they moved. If you didn't know, I'm a humongous Red Wings fan, like ridiculously
Yeah,
huge.
Yusuf is from the Detroit metro area,
Yeah. So
or he spent some time there.
we grew up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Parse is from Chicago. He's a massive Blackhawks fan. That year. This might have been grade 10, because this was the
Yeah, I
year
feel like it was
Chicago
grade 10.
played LA in the
Western Conference.
Western Conference
won.
Finals. So it was Chicago and Detroit, Western semis. Game 7. Game goes to overtime. I'm sitting in my house freaking out, and I'm texting Parse the entire time. Please don't win.
Yeah,
I
we
beg
were
you.
having a text.
Because I thought the Red Wings would have won that game. Brent Seabrook on a bad hit on Justin Advocator. Advocator supposedly gets the.
It's totally illegal.
No, it was not. That shouldn't have.
Anyways,
happened.
3-on-1 the other way.
3-on-1 the other way. Blackhawks win the game.
Kane had a saucer.
I-
pass. Seabrook top left.
I legitimately did not go to school the next day
top left.
until we had concert band rehearsal. Out of legitimate embarrassment.
top left.
The
Wow.
worst part of it was
I went to school happy.
I got to school at like 3:00. Got into making my way into the band room through the hallways, and there's Parse in a Blackhawks hat staring at me, and I'm just nodding at him like. Ugh. So there was that, and then the last little hockey tidbit story I have was when we were in school, the head of music was this guy named Dan Horner. And Horner had a tradition with his grade 12 students that he would take them out for dinner at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
So we had our year to do that, which was obviously our grade 12 year. And so we're doing that, we're enjoying our time. Coincidentally, it was game 5 or 6 of the Stanley Cup final, whichever one the last game was of that year, between LA and New York, the double overtime game that the Kings won and clinched the cup in. And for the good second half of dinner, we're at this Japanese place, and there's a bunch of us all sitting in a line. It was me, Anton, and a couple other people. We got our phones out, and we're just watching the score. We're just watching and seeing what happens. Has hockey taken over our lives? Kinda. Well, not really. But needless to say, it's where I got to, be friendly with other people in other things, other than just, whatever we were doing for school.
Yeah. And I think we should just go over, what sports we played while we were in high school.
Oh,
Yeah, let's talk about, how we got into sports as something that is our hobby.
Yeah.
yeah.
So someone want to go first?
Yeah, so I grade 9 to grade 12 I was on the basketball team, and I also played chess, but that's not really a sport. We're not here for that. But I never really played hockey too much, but I love watching it. So that's how I got associated with Yusuf more closely through hockey, because both of us had never really played, but we loved it.
Yeah.
And we had a weird love for it. It was just interesting.
Kind of passive aggressive, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Back
I
then,
mean, even
yeah.
when we were in class, for
Mhm.
gym class, we didn't have hockey that season, but we had
You
football.
were
but football
watching the
wasn't-
playoffs during Spanish class?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember
Yeah.
that. Man, we did some insane stuff back
We did
then.
some dumb stuff. But, yeah, because remember, were you in the ball team all 4 years?
all 4 years.
Okay.
We had
Right.
we had a lockout, I think, grade 11, but
Yep.
we played 2 games, so I played all 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get into sports as a kid, though?
Yeah, so I guess at a young age, being active was a big part of my life.
Mhm.
I learned how to skate really, really young. I think I was 8, 9 years old
Wow.
when I learned how to skate,
Yeah.
and taking that with me well, when you come to Canada,
Yeah, you just
it's getting
gotta
about
learn.
to be.
Yeah, my parents put me on skates when I
Yeah,
was like 7.
so-
Also, so
The thing about being in Canada for Americans out there listening is that they have this sport called hockey that they take more seriously than Sunday Mass
yeah,
for some reason.
Yeah, basically.
It's
So-
like yeah, it's actually kind of like football. If you're in the American South, like if you're in Alabama, it's football. If you're in Canada, it's hockey.
Or
Yeah.
football if you're in South America and or
Yes,
Europe.
the other football.
The
yeah.
actual football.
Sorry, continue, Pars.
So like it's very polarizing. But lucky for me, my parents put me to learn skating, so I was never really off the ball where that came. I remember there's a bunch of
Off
field
the
trips
ice.
off the
Off
ice.
the ice, yeah.
A lot of field trips I took like downtown to outdoor skating rinks or even skating rinks in general, and I always had a good footing for it. Through high school, I actually was a skate patrol person, so really was making money doing something I actually liked to do. But then obviously as an American, I still watch Sunday night football, Sunday football. I'm not a Cowboys fan, not sorry, actually they're terrible. But yeah, like sports for me has always been a big part of my life because it kept me grounded. You know how you always need an outlet
Yeah.
from what you're doing? Sports was it. And hanging out
Yeah.
with you guys watching sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NCAA.
Oh,
Basketball
man, all the years of
games.
watching March Madness.
You're just over there.
Yeah, that,
Oh.
one, that one year we just like kept flipping the channel, and then each one was a buzzer beater.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we flipped the channel to
Oh,
a Michigan
man.
State buzzer beater, and then we flipped the channel again to a Wisconsin one where Arizona won this time.
Yeah.
And it was just
God.
Like,
It
how
was
did that
just-
happen?
And Connecticut won a game on a buzzer in like overtime, and then it was
Yeah,
a
it was
whole.
great.
and every single
slew.
time a buzzer beater hit, we don't really have like a affiliation with any of these schools.
yeah,
but
we just thought it was crazy.
when
Yeah,
the
we just
ball
thought-
went in,
yeah,
we just
we're like-
started jumping around like we made a bet.
Yeah. Oh God.
What was what was your Yusuf?
for
What was
me?
your affiliation with
So-
sports?
I mean, like, I didn't grow up really playing many sports except for tennis, badminton, and I used to do track actually when I was a lot younger.
Dope.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dope.
once upon a time. But I used to do track a lot, mainly like I think before high school. And like I'd play football recreationally with my friends from like the neighborhood here. So, like there was that, and then in high school, I was on the badminton team 1 year,
Yeah, I didn't make it.
grade 9. I don't know how I made it.
I was
did.
so mad.
Yeah. But then like music basically took over all of my time in
Yeah.
high school. So that was my more recreational outlet, but it was nice because I got to know people that were in all the bands on a different level, and a lot of them were sports related because we would just talk about football or hockey or basketball or whatever was going on. Yeah, we almost had a rugby team. I was supposed to be on
Yeah,
that, but
yeah,
you know,
we were
we ended
supposed to
up
have a
not
rugby
having
team.
it, which was a shame. I did play summer league rugby for a bit throughout certain years of high school, and yeah, that was really about it for me.
Yeah. So my affiliation with sports, I guess the first sport I did as a kid was martial arts. That was something I did until I was like, I don't know, 14 or something like that. I was like pretty super into it, doing martial arts as a kid. I was also like a very like pacifist kid. Like whenever I would do sparring matches, I would always lose because I never had like the heart to want to hit someone. So it would always be in forms that I would be getting trophies, because I can act, but I don't have the heart to hit someone. But I did. I also did volleyball when I was in elementary school. So did that because I was a very, very short kid. I was almost always the shortest kid in the class until I hit my growth spurt when I was 14. And so going into high school, I kind of had an interest in baseball, just because I just liked the feeling of being able to catch a ball with a glove in my hand and thinking like, oh, I caught it. And so, yeah, I just started to train up for baseball a little bit, and I was able to make the team when I was in grade 11. It was a varsity team, so from grade 9 to 12,
right, yeah.
anyone was able to try out for the
Yeah.
boys varsity baseball team.
Who coached that? Was that
Um,
Falkenberg?
No,
Yes.
no. Wait,
Yes.
was it Falkenberg?
Yes,
And
it
it was
was
also
Falkenberg.
Miller, right? It was also Miller.
Yeah, it was like four
Like four
four
teachers.
teachers that
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah,
rotated
yeah,
it. But we, I mean, I tried out and I was able to make it because I remember this one Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide episode on how to make a sports team, and I just like followed that to the T. Like, oh, make sure you stand right beside the coach when you perform well, and if you have a partner, choose someone who's competent but not better than you, and then make sure you compliment them and maybe coach them a little bit when the coach walks by.
Yeah.
And I did exactly that. I manipulated my way onto the team. And because I was, by the way, I was not a good baseball player. Like I was I was mediocre at best, but I knew how to get onto the team just so I could say that I was able to make it onto the sports team.
See, that's the thing, because I tried out for that team, I never made it.
Yeah. And like they called me bench warmer because that was exactly what I did. I played a total of 3 innings the whole season.
Nice.
A total of I went up to at bat. I had how many at bats? I had 3 at bats. 3 at bats.
Yes.
Out of like 14 games
There you
or
go.
something like that. So
Still better than a lot of guys in the major leagues who haven't gotten off the bench.
Yeah. But my interest in sports really actually just kind of came from talking to Yusuf, because I got really close to Yusuf, and he liked talking about sports, and so I was like, yeah, I could, I'm kind of okay with sports, and so that's when I started, researching some like, okay, how does the hockey system actually work?
How do hockey function?
How do hockey function? Like, how does it actually work? And so I started
common Google searches.
Yeah, I started looking that up, and I was thinking like, well, I don't know if I want to be a Toronto fan, because that's just, it's kind of cliche, because I'm from the area, so I think like I want to cheer for someone who no one would think to cheer of, but was actually kind of okay, like an underdog. That no one thinks about. So that's why at first I talked about liking Minnesota teams, because Minnesota sports is generally like that team that makes it into the wild card spot, and then you're like, oh right, they made it into the wild card. I completely forgot that they were a team.
Oh
right,
really
good.
They like exist.
They're like a strong team, but they're not a playoff team.
Yeah,
that goes for like all of their sports teams.
Yeah.
And so. And then, of course, in 2013, the Winnipeg Jets got a team from the Atlanta Thrashers, and so I was just like, Winnipeg Jets. That's who I'm cheering for.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
And then like the 3 of us kind of stayed friends. Like I went to Singapore to hang out with Yusuf.
Anton. When we finished high school in grade 12, I remember Anton mentioning that he might be in Singapore for a few days. That summer. I was like, yeah, sure, if you're around, like, let me know. And he was around for 4 days, 5 days, something like that.
Yeah,
4 or
like
5
that.
days. Yeah, that's one thing I've always told the guys for years is I wish we could take a trip out there and just like hang out for a few days. And so far I've only had that with Anton, but like still hoping one day.
I mean,
when COVID's not a thing.
Yusuf and I went to the 100-year winter classic.
Oh, Parson and I have a lot of dumb travel
one.
stories.
Crazy.
But,
and the Boston travel story.
Yeah. So one thing, actually both of you, but one thing I want to talk about is, so we finished high school, and for me at least personally, most of us from our grade had like gone off to university or whatever. I decided to take a gap year for reasons. But it was good because I could still hang out with these guys because they were still around. Like Anton had been in school and then dropped out, and our other friend Joseph was the same thing, had been in school, dropped out. So the 3 of us were essentially like the OG 3 Musketeers, because Joseph was also in the band program with us, and we really got closer around like grade 12, I want to say. Yeah. The 3 of us. Yeah. And so we were still hanging out during that time while working and doing whatever. Mm-hmm. Pars would come over if I ever called him, if he wasn't busy with school or anything. And that's where I started to figure out like maybe I need to fuse these groups together, like whoever's still around,
Yeah.
Things I thought would get hectic come the next year, because that's when I moved.
Yeah.
But I was really concerned about how that was gonna go. But it's been
5
years since I left. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've all sort of known each other for a decade now.
Yeah, a decade.
And so we were able to, like, I didn't really start hanging out with Pars until after graduating high school.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah,
so
like,
we only saw each other in class and maybe in hallways, but we never really started hanging out until after.
Yeah, until
after prom.
Until after prom, until like we started hanging out at Yusuf's.
Here.
Yeah, here at his place. And just like every holiday, his dad would cook like the bombest meals.
Yep.
Bro, I'm still
Just like
waiting.
Thanksgiving,
Christmas.
Christmas time.
That one time, before like one of his dinners, I had a dream that, or maybe I don't know.
No, I want
Yeah, sometime
you
before.
gotta tell us.
Maybe it was the day before. I had a dream that his dad cooked us the best food, and I cried because it was so good. And then I woke up and I'm like, damn, it's not in front of me right now.
No. There's another one. Where
another
you
one?
dreamt
I
and you were
thought so.
like, yo, so I want the recipe.
Oh
I
yeah,
gave you the book.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you woke up, you're like, oh, I thought I had the book.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had the
man.
recipe. But no, like if Yusuf's dad ever gives any one of us the recipe, he'd have to kill us.
Yeah,
that's probably it.
He'd
'cause
probably
it's-
kill you.
It's
first.
like a very secret,
yeah.
which is fine. Like it's delicious.
But since 2015, it's been the three of us, our other friend Joseph, and our other friend group that have been huddled around. Basically, like all we do is if we're not like going out anywhere, we just meet up here in my house and we just hang out in my
Yeah,
basement.
just hanging
That's
out.
been a thing for years, and back when things were I wouldn't say easy, but not as adulty when we weren't working as much.
Yeah.
You know.
We would, like,
if
have
we had a holiday,
sleepovers.
Yeah, the guys would stay here the night. We'd watch movies or something.
Oh yeah,
just hang
sleepovers,
out.
like pillow fights. We would do each other's nails, all
Yeah, we
those
do each
things.
other's nails.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
there was we've done a we've
not
had
that
a
there's
lot of
anything
fun.
wrong with that.
No.
You can do that.
No.
One of those sleepovers was birth to my favorite meme of our friend group.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is the Snug Man,
Oh yeah,
which is Parse.
yeah. We were
but-
watching a movie of some
I
kind.
think it was Lord of the Rings.
No, it was something
was it
else.
That one or was it a different one?
'Cause,
Maybe it was a different one.
Yeah, I think it was something
No,
else.
no, it was a scary movie. I remember.
Parse, do you
it was
remember,
a scary movie.
You remember
it was
when
The Ring.
when we thought about doing a drinking game for Lord of the Rings, and you said, "Hey,
Yeah,
what
I
if
said we used to drink
what
every time
if
we see a
and you
Hobbit.
said, take a shot
Every time you see a Hobbit.
What's
then-
wrong with that?
And then everyone,
First
yo, our
20 minutes of that movie.
one of our other friends, Blair, is just like, bro, are you stupid? Are you trying to get to the ER? Are you trying to die?
Are you dumb?
That's the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Movies and
First 20
Hobbit.
minutes of the movie. That's what I remember.
You're gonna
but,
die
you know,
in the
it's,
opening credits.
It's a genuine testament to how close we've become over those years, because obviously, like, I wasn't in town as much. I'd be home maybe every other month, depending, and then I'd be home for the summer. But then I'd be traveling for like a month of the summer. But we'd still find times to hang out. Like every holiday, I'd be back. You know, Canadian Thanksgiving, I'd be here. Christmas time, I'd be here. New Year's, obviously, I'm here. And yeah, no matter what, like we'd always get the squad together somehow, one way or another.
Yeah.
And we just, talk about whatever. March too, even like when I had spring break, I'd come back here for the week, and the guys would come over, and we'd just watch the March Madness games.
Yeah.
Just hang out here.
Yeah, and we'd go bowling too.
Yeah, and there was bowling nights and a lot
To
of
this day, I still take like those days off in March because that's serious, man.
Yeah.
Some serious stuff. I don't
Whereas
play
it's like
around.
you don't understand.
Ours is-
You don't understand.
It's real serious.
It
But
gets real
at
serious.
least with all of our friends, there's some interest, there's some dynamic there that keeps us all together for the most part. Obviously, people are busy now with life and also it's COVID.
Yeah, but like technology really helps.
Technology does help. But at least with these two and Joseph, but Joseph's not here. They've been witnessed, at least partially witnessed, I guess, to my life not here. So my second year of school,
Yeah, Parse went to go.
my second year of school, Parson and I were hanging out, I think like the night before I left for Boston.
This
And
dude, man.
back then we
dude.
drove over because I had a lot of gear to carry. So I asked Parson, I said, "You want to come with me?" And he was like, "You serious?" I'm like, "You want to come or not?" He's like, "Okay." Like, cool. So he packed his bag. Next day at 4 a.m, he
Yeah.
shows up at my house all ready to go. We throw our bags in. So we're on the road heading to the border. We get through the border, and I look at Parson and go, "Did you tell your boss you were going to be gone for a few days?" And Parson looks at me and goes, "No,
Yeah, that's facts.
I didn't." It was like 8 a.m. We were both asleep in the back of my dad's car, and he just looked at me and goes, "I should probably do that, shouldn't I?" I'm like, "Yeah, it might be a good idea." So we got to a pit stop, and Parse immediately gets out of the car, gets on his phone, calls his boss, like, "Hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm not here."
Yeah, I'm just not. I told him like, yeah, I'm not here. I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah.
I didn't find a replacement either. So you'll have to do
Yo.
it. Too. You just have to do it. You just have to do everything. Just do everything. I'll be back next week. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that was the last time you've done something like that.
No.
Okay, any potential future employers of Parse?
Just so you know.
Well, I mean, I was a young, like under 18 person back then, right?
Under
No,
18.
you weren't.
No, you were
no,
not.
you were 20.
Pretty sure. Oh,
This
was
is when-
this was just your second year.
That would have been
Oh.
your third year.
So that would have been
Yeah.
your 3rd
You're-
year.
okay.
Yeah,
So
you were
yeah,
20. You were
I've
20.
gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Plus,
Okay.
like nowadays, you have vacation days, so you book that in
Yeah,
advance.
nowadays, there's
Yeah,
a
okay.
fucking pandemic.
Yes, we can't
Every
go
day's a
anywhere anyway.
vacation day if you think about it.
I mean, I was that person who always go to school even through a snowstorm. So
That's
like,
true.
I'm not like just take off person.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But so Parse, came to Boston with us for a few days. This is like the beginning of the year, like just like around move-in time. So got to hang around with us, stay for a few days. It was a nice time.
Yeah.
It was a, really,
It was a
really
good
nice
time. It was a good
time.
bonding time too, because I got
It was a
to
good
connect a
bonding
lot
time.
with him
Yeah.
and like notice a lot of similarities we had.
Yeah,
Like that was a really, really, really
that was a fun few days.
growthful trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then now we have this idea of cross countrying through not just the U.S. now. I think we said we are gonna do Vancouver to
we're gonna cross country from
Halifax,
here over the
something.
ocean.
Yes.
something.
But
That's still in the works.
We've,
It's like
we've
a
always
back
had
burner.
these ideas for a long time, and just planning them out is obviously difficult.
Yeah.
But I think hopefully one day we'll do them. But so
Definitely.
there was that, and then on the other end of the spectrum, my last month of
Yeah.
my life in college, Anton and Joseph drove down east
To
to
Boston,
Boston.
from Toronto to Boston.
to come by for a few days
And-
for my graduating recital.
Yeah, and the thing is, Joseph.
Got sick.
Yeah. Oh, there's that. But
Well, there was more.
So like,
Long story.
so he, we have like a graduated licensing system in Ontario,
yeah.
and so the license that he had didn't really work with the insurance that I had, and so like if anything happens, then it would have been on me, and it would have affected my my insurance record, and so I just decided, screw it, I'll just drive the whole way
Yeah.
while we're in the States. So I drove the whole 10 hours, and
I just took a
it was
break.
yeah, I did take a break.
You guys took a break.
We stopped in Syracuse
Yeah.
for a night on the way there and on the way back. But yeah, that was super fun. Like sleeping in a place
Oh
in,
man,
like,
my
super cramped,
crowded apartment.
super crowded,
Yep.
and it was like not clean at all. Like I remember taking a
Ah.
shower. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting dirtier by taking this shower.
Shower water. Okay, that's Boston. That's on Boston, not on me. That's
No,
on.
not the shower water was fine. It's just like you guys never cleaned the tub or anything.
I did. My roommate, maybe not. I love my roommate though. I love Liam. But yeah, that was a very memorable week
Yeah.
for me, mainly because number one, you guys were there.
Yeah.
Number two, obviously my folks were there because it was my recital, and a friend of ours and a former student of mine was also there
Yeah.
because his
friends.
friend was at Harvard, and so at one point, myself, Anton, Joseph, and then those two ended up just hanging out one day, and it was a lovely reunion
Yeah. It was
of
just
like high school percussionists
super fun, just like hanging out.
hanging out in Boston and just having a good time. Like we took the guys like to the north side of the city. Joseph wanted to throw tea into the Boston Harbor.
Yeah. We had some clam chowder.
We had some
Joseph
chowder.
is, he's
Yeah,
that guy.
He's that guy.
But yeah, so
I think we should talk about like how and why we started this podcast. I don't think.
oh man, all right, so
Well,
So we would
It's a
always
clear
have
shot-
conversations about
Yeah.
sports.
so
yeah.
But sometime in 2019, I just started asking Yusuf, like, okay, where would you put like these hypothetical questions? All right, where would you put an NBA team if you had the ability to change to add an expansion team? Where would you do that with an NHL team? And then I started asking him things like, do the Olympics matter? Are esports
like-
an actual sport? And
or
so like these are
They
like
are now.
Yeah, they are now.
these are like questions that I was just kind of curious about.
Yeah,
and we would
so-
have conversations about.
So, if you didn't know, I also do a little blog on the side called the Rashid Report, which
Yes,
I
sir.
post every now and then. But it's been about a year since I've started that blog, and writing a post here and there, I thought writing is fun for me. It's a good way to release whatever I'm going with dealing with and just like have some fun. But I started to realize I enjoy having genuine conversations with people about like sports related matters. And I thought, maybe I should start a podcast. And in October, November-ish, just a lot of things sort of hit me at once, and my mind was racing from there's a lot of just life, and I realized I need something to get me away from this, and I need something that I enjoy to get me away from all this, and I knew that talking about sports would be probably the best idea, because it's all I talked about in Boston too with other people. Like, yeah, I went to music school, but I'd go to fucking baseball and hockey games like every couple of weeks. So, sports was always a big thing. And whenever Anton and the guys would come over, the guys would leave, and then, like, if it was just Anton and I for a little bit, we'd sit down, and Anton would just, he'd start asking me all those different questions and just different other questions relating to sports in general. And I just start throwing out answers that are, like borderline explanations that you could throw in a dissertation. Okay, maybe not that, but I would just, like, start explaining these things. And Anton kept saying, like, you should start a podcast, you should start a podcast, you should start a podcast. And I said, okay, fuck it. I'm pulling the trigger on this. I'm like, we're doing this.
Well, like,
we are starting this.
On top of that too, like, you guys were gonna start it, but you also said to yourself, like, we have to include somebody else who also is pretty knowledgeable about sports as well.
Well, the plan for me, at least in my thinking, the plan was always going to be was us three. That was always.
I
the
remember
plan
when
in
you
my
guys
head.
approached me about it, and at
Yeah.
first I was like, whoa, like, we're actually gonna take that big step.
Yeah, because
that big step
I am
towards ESPN.
like I myself
Maybe not.
am not that knowledgeable about like sports history or statistics or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm a little bit like that with hockey, but really the other sports, I'm just not. I would not be able to tell you who the top high school prospect is for basketball, but
Mikey.
yeah, like
No.
Pars might be able to tell you.
Pars could probably
And
tell you. Yeah.
But the perspective I wanted to bring was a very like curious, like broader scope, inquisitive, like do the Olympics matter, or like should esports be taken seriously, and also like taking a very like sports media mindset, because for some of you who don't know, I work in the media world. I am a videographer like for for live events and for as well as making commercials for local businesses and stuff. So like I have a very like media mind around things. So I wanted to take it from that angle, and so I feel like the three of us have like a good dynamic going.
And I just
Yeah.
love to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very true.
But it's the
for all
birth
the
of this
years
is-
that I've known Pars.
It's the
Yeah.
birth of this entire thing, and it's been working out really well. We've been doing this almost a year. It's crazy to think about that
On and
too.
off for a year. We'll be
On and off.
more and more scheduled.
Yeah.
more frequent.
And
more
we
frequent
we
as
have
it
a lot
goes
of
on,
fun
yeah.
doing this.
We do. See, I love talking to people about sports, but I feel like the conversation for me will get boring if either they can't match my level of psychotic energy when I do
Yeah,
talk
that
about sports,
energy
or
needs
if
to
I
match.
can't feed off them. And like this dynamic is always fun because Anton is super, super calm for the most part whenever we do an episode. Pars will freak out about like
I'm the
certain
opposite.
things. He'll get angry about things a lot.
I'm the
And then
opposite.
for me, it's like
The Clippers.
the Clippers. The Clippers. And then for me, like, I'll be, like, I wouldn't say I know a lot, but I have a fair amount of knowledge on certain things in sports. And, yeah, I get emotional about things. If you've heard our fucking Leafs episode, you would know 100% about that. If you ever seen me after a Red Wings loss, you'd see about that. No one say anything about the Detroit Lions.
No, I'm not gonna say anything.
Don't say anything.
Not during this podcast. We're almost out of time.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good dynamic, and the dynamic can only get better. Plus, it's handy that we're all friends to begin with, so the dynamic's been there. It's just now we're sort of honing it and throwing it into this.
friends, we're family.
We're
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
been a long. That's not even the right key, is it?
that's
No, it's not.
Anyways,
yeah, there you
we're
go.
not focusing here. Sorry, Charlie Puth, but is it Charlie Puth?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Great song.
Berkeley grad.
Yeah, Berkeley grad.
Really good.
Through all these years of being in high school and then not being in high school to meeting up only basically whenever I was in town is when we'd get the whole squad together. Really, it's been a wild ride, and it can only get more of a, it still is enjoyable now. It's been 10 years, which is still nuts to think about.
Yeah.
That's been 10 years, but hey, here we are sitting as usual not in my house, but we're in my backyard. But here we are in my backyard, still doing this stuff,
Yeah.
in our mid-20s and talking about all this
Yeah.
through all the emotional things that we have all individually gone through that we have shared with these guys.
There's
Yeah.
been a lot.
That we have shared with each other. There's been a lot, and we've really all helped each other through it. I love you guys.
Yeah, love
No.
you guys too.
You guys are the best.
This is the origin story. This
Maybe
is how
not
it all
Pars.
works.
Pars is okay.
Wow.
I'm on the
Wow.
side.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean,
I'm
Yusuf.
just here to entertain. Are you not entertained?
Pars funny
entertained.
enough. Like I love
Gerard
these two.
Butler.
Pars's family is probably like the closest to my family.
Yeah,
as far as like our friend group goes.
it's
Yeah.
crazy that's
But
true as well.
yeah, it's been a good time. We'll have more good times probably.
Yeah.
COVID's
I hope you guys
a thing,
continue to listen to
Yeah.
our podcast.
Now we're on
and-
video.
yeah, like now
Yeah,
we're on
we
video.
have
Thank
video
you
too.
for listening.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys can like share this with your friends online.
Sure, anywhere.
So you
Post
can
it on your blogs. Do whatever, right?
Do
Yeah.
whatever.
Like, share, subscribe.
and if
We are
not,
on-
that's cool too.
we
We'll
are on
still be here.
Apple.
Subscribe.
We're on Apple Music. We're on
Apple
Spotify.
Podcasts,
We're on
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher, Google Play, or Google Radio, or whatever. Google Podcasts, I think it is, and Anchor.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So we're everywhere.
Lots of spots.
yeah.
This has been a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
this,
good
is- this is
episode.
one of the more chill things.
Yeah.
No anger.
No.
For the first time in a few episodes, no anger.
That's the next podcast.
That's the next-
Well,
when we-
thanks
when we-
for listening,
When
guys.
we find out that Kyle Dubas decided to trade the entire Leafs front line,
I wouldn't blame him.
I don't blame him either. But you
Blow
know
up the
what?
team.
Blow up the
That's
team.
a whole different thing we can
Okay.
talk about. But until then, which probably is soon, we'll have a schedule. I think we'll start to get actually serious with
Yeah.
this, rather than it just being a fun thing that we do sometimes. But this has been the SportCulation podcast. We'll see you soon. My name is Yusuf Rashid.
I'm the Pars.
My name is Anton.
See you soon. Goodbye.